Hello everybody, it's TannerFishies here, back again with a new Ninjago video here on the channel. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the weird aspect of Ninjago's universe, the strange things about Ninjago's world as its own thing. We're not going to be talking about anything behind the scenes related in today's video. Instead, we are going to be taking a deep look into the Ninjago universe as its own thing and what's strange about it specifically. Of course, in relation to our own real world. Now, Ninjago as its own world is obviously very different than that of the real life world. In real life, we do not have elementally charged beings running around fighting snake people or anything like that, but Ninjago's culture and the way that they actually do things in that universe is a little odd compared to our real world. So like I said, we're going to be diving deep into this topic and presenting a few strange facts about Ninjago's world. Let's go ahead and start off with the first one that I have, which of course revolves around holidays. I've seen this a lot mentioned throughout several Ninjago communities. A lot of people wonder what exactly the holidays are like in Ninjago. Does Ninjago celebrate things like Christmas or Halloween or whatever holiday you may or may not celebrate? Well, the short answer is they do and they don't. We've seen that Ninjago holidays are very different than real life holidays, and in Ninjago only a few specific holidays are mentioned. Those of course being a New Year's celebration, meaning that Ninjago does indeed celebrate some type of New Year's thing to say the least, but we also have obvious ones like Day of the Departed, which is not necessarily a real holiday in this real world, though you can indeed make some comparisons between Day of the Departed as a holiday and some real world holidays, but the actual holiday of Day of the Departed does not exist in the real world. Also, Ninjago celebrates a thing called Dragon Day or something. We can see Ninjago City civilians celebrating Dragon Day during the first couple of minutes of Sons of Garmadon, and like I said, you can draw parallels to real life holidays, but there isn't really anything explicit going on here. Christmas is also not celebrated in Ninjago, despite Christmas making an appearance at several points throughout the series, most infamously during Kai's Venomari acid trip, which occurred in the first Ninjago season when he started hallucinating and seeing Christmas-themed objects. So make of that information what you will. Also, days of the week exist in Ninjago, which of course were mentioned several times throughout the series, but strangely enough, the specific year that it is has not really been mentioned in Ninjago itself. Years are only mentioned a handful of times as ways to keep track of time, but they technically aren't counted in the Ninjago world, I suppose, though you will see characters mention the year, or at least a specific year, from time to time. The language in Ninjago is also very different. While the characters in the show may appear to speak English, or whatever language dub you happen to be watching of the series, the language in Ninjago is strictly that of Ninjargon, which is the made-up language in this fictional Lego world, but other real-world languages exist in the show, such as German and Spanish, as characters can be heard speaking them in the background, or just saying random phrases in those specific languages. This primarily comes from Clutch Powers, which really shouldn't be too much of a surprise. The government of Ninjago is also fairly unknown. We don't really know a whole lot about the government aspect of Ninjago City or anything like that. We do know a few things, such as mayors of cities or towns exist, as well as the royal family from Sons of Garmadon, though we can't really say a whole lot about them because they were promptly killed off. There is a very big rumor that the government of Ninjago will play a larger role in future stories, so we just have to wait and see, I suppose. But for right now, the government is very unknown, and we really don't have a whole lot of information about that right now. The land of Ninjago itself is shared by multiple species, and every group has their own culture, including groups like the humans, Serpentine, Merlopians, the Keepers, etc. These populations also have various cultures within them, as there are multiple Serpentine tribes, and even different groups of people in the Ninjago world will celebrate different things or have different customs or cultures depending on what you're looking at. This is especially common in the families of elemental masters. As mentioned by Karloff, his people celebrate a different form of life as opposed to some of the more traditional customs that we are used to seeing within Ninjago. Also, kind of a weird one to touch on here, but technically slavery exists within the world of Ninjago, or at least some level of lower class people serving masters or higher class people. The ninja themselves really do not appear to be super fond of this aspect of Ninjago, as Nia can be seen disbanding some of these organizations, if you want to call them that, during the first couple of moments of Season 8 Sons of Garmadon. This aspect of Ninjago is very strange, but it it makes multiple appearances during the show, most recently during Master of the Mountain, when King Vangelis ran a slavery-type operation in the mountains of Shintaro with the Geckos and the Munts, and that was pretty much kept out of the public eye, meaning that this aspect of Ninjago's culture may not be really respected anymore or even practiced by a large majority of the Ninjago population, which is a good thing to say the least. Going away from some of the darker aspects of Ninjago, the actual planet of Ninjago, what exactly is it? We've seen space before in the series, and we've seen other planets surround the solar system, if you will, of Ninjago, or at least the planet within that solar system. Each planet in the Ninjago solar system is suspected by fans to be a different realm, perhaps, and this is how the realms all interconnect. They essentially operate under one large solar system. Others argue that the realm of Ninjago is strictly the main landmass, with several islands surrounding it, which, if you want to argue that point, then why do we even have planets in the Ninjago universe in the first place? Is the solar system of Ninjago still the realm of Ninjago, or are those other realms? Regardless, space exists within the world of Ninjago, and it is very confusing, and I can see why the creators and the showrunners do not want Ninjago to go to space anymore. It just creates confusion, and nobody really knows what they're talking about. Strictly talking about the island of Ninjago, the thing is humongous. According to series creator Tommy Andresen, it would take the average person 4 to 5 days to travel across the entire island by vehicle. That's not even walking, but by vehicle. It would take you about 4 to 5 days to travel the entire island from top to bottom. To put that into perspective, it takes roughly 2 days to travel across the entire United States. So when you think about it, the island of Ninjago is pretty big. I'm not even going to try to figure out how long it would take to walk that distance, but I'm sure you guys can try to figure that out in the comments section. Either way, the average person will take roughly 4 to 5 days to travel across the entire island of Ninjago, suggesting that Ninjago is quite massive to say the least. Talking more about the actual island of Ninjago, obviously it was created by the first Spinjitzu master in the context of the show. However, before the first Spinjitzu master came to this new realm, it's likely that this entire realm was pretty much just an endless sea, until the first Spinjitzu master actually made some type of landmass. The evidence of this can be found within Ninjago Seabound during flashback sequences and legends, but it appears as though the realm of Ninjago was initially just a large ocean, which is kind of interesting to say the least. And of course, after the first Spinjitzu master came along and constructed the island of Ninjago, we actually had a functioning realm. So there you guys have it. Those have been some strange facts about the Ninjago universe. According to various showrunners and things that actually happened within the show itself, the Ninjago world, if you will, is quite different from our real life world, with not only several cultural differences, but also several differences in the way of living and just the way that things are done in that specific realm. Let me know down below in the comments what you think about this, and does Ninjago sound like a fun place to live? In my opinion, no, not really, but let me know what you think down below in the comments, and hopefully you enjoyed today's video nonetheless. This has been a couple of strange facts about the Ninjago world. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and check out the links down below in the description for other forms of social media. As always, big shout out goes out to my Patreon supporters, including once again the marvelous Jan. Thank you guys so much for checking out this video once again. My name is TannerFishies, and with that I bid you farewell.